Hey guys. So a lot of people have been asking me lately about an essay I wrote that is being published in an college textbook. I want to go over the reason why, go over my essay a little bit, some thoughts I've had, and also a little bit as to why I wrote it and honestly why I want to continue writing about um, the topics I covered. So first things first, let's talk about why. Why did my essay get chosen to be published in a university textbook? And so, what you're looking at on the screen is my final project essay that I wrote for an English class by my professor, John Goshert. Now, my professor for this class actually writes his own textbook and uses examples within the textbook from students, from other people within academia at large. And what I want to show, well, what he has done is he has asked me to submit a copy, a revised copy basically, of my final project that I wrote for his class. He was interested in what I wrote. He thought that I wrote it fairly well, and that although the topic I wrote about is a very weird, very niche, it shows what he explained to me is it shows some sort of understanding that there is a conversation within academia about what I've written. And so to discuss what I've written, like I said, this essay was written about 2 years ago, or more than 2 years ago now. But it's called Caught in a Mosh: How the Rhythmic Structures of Metal Music Influence a Live Audience. Um, Basically, this essay was about moshing and the violent reactions concertgoers have at a metal hardcore punk show. And so this is where things got goofy. At the beginning of the semester, so how this professor structures his classes, it is this particular class I took is specifically a class to conduct research and to write research papers and to uh, kind of delve into academic writing of like a topic and to be sort of force yourself basically into the conversation that people within academia at large are discussing and talking about. Um, and so the main thing about this is it's different from like an article or a think piece or anything. It's stating something and using sources of research data, interviews, visual data. It's a presentation of your topic of your thesis, um, and it's to make sure you have the credentials necessary to be a part of the conversation. You have to show your sources. You have to show your credentials. You have to show that you understand the material or the thing being discussed and that you can analyze and synthesize the different data, research, and comments other people have had. And so I also want to show my credentials, show my research, and basically defend my thesis. So, first off, to show my credentials, for moshing, how better than to show the type of music that one moshes to, and to show like physical evidence of that. So first, Every Time I Die wall flag. If you don't know who Every Time I Die is, go listen to them. The Chariot wall flag. Got that in 2012, 2013. One Wing. Go listen to them. Very good music. I also have Vinyl. This is When the End Began by Silent Planet. Pretty freaking sweet. Another credential I have, Helix by Crystal Lake. Very good album. Honestly, probably the best metal band currently from Japan. Here we go. Signed, framed poster of Every Time I Die. Well, let's see if I can get it in the angle. Yeah, there you go. You can see some of the signatures there. That's from Warped Tour. 2018, the last Warped Tour. Rest in peace, Warped Tour. And finally, last credential. Signed Silent Planet tour poster from the When the End Began concert tour. I love this thing. I had to get it framed. So those are my credentials. That's how y'all know that I know what I'm talking about. Oh, also Knock Loose t-shirt. That's how y'all know I know what I'm talking about. But I also have to show to academia at large that I know what I'm talking about as well. And how they get my credentials is from the different sources I use. So, towards the bottom of this, all my works cited. This is just what I've used. I've probably read more research, papers, essays, and books. I will say from these sources here, I've probably read 3 times, maybe 4 times more. So, and I've also listed that in another document in my annotated bibliography of what I've read. So, that's how I show to professors, other academics, that I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I want to read the first page of this essay. And also want to preface this by saying this is not final of what, because obviously this is from 2018. Very, very sleep deprived year. A lot of my sentences did not make sense. And I could probably write it better. And I probably will rewrite this and make it better. So let's start. The title. Caught in a Mosh. How the rhythmic structures of metal music influence a live audience. To start, in high school, a few of my friends and I started a band. Wrote and played post-hardcore music and loved playing live. One of the reasons why I enjoy metal, punk, and alternative music was the physical reaction those genres generate from a live crowd. The live crowd would react to music by moshing, a form of violent dancing commonly performed to alternative music. When my band wrote music to be played live, we would visualize how an audience would respond physically to what we played. This interest in the relationship between alternative music and moshing is what drove my research to find a connection between music theory and the physical response of an audience. In his article, Beats That Commute. And this is actually where I show that I know what I'm talking about to other academics because I'm citing another professor, specifically Brad Osborne. I believe he's a music professor at NYU. No, Michigan State, I believe. I gotta go back and check. What does Osborne? Oh gosh, Osborne. That doesn't say. Whatever. All right, whereas nope. Here you are. Okay. In his article, Beats That Commute, Brad Osborne looks at how music can cause a kinesthetic response from a live audience. Osborne explains in his article that observing both listeners and performance in live concert settings reveals that such complicated rhythmic structures are successfully and even artfully interpreted by bodies and instruments of those immersed in the genre. Although Osborne develops the rhythmic theory related to the music in his article, he does not show how live audiences react to that music. This is my argument here. This is where I say this guy, he knows what he's talking about, but he doesn't know the whole thing. I want to talk more about that. So let's continue. In this essay, I will demonstrate how different rhythms and grooves found in punk, metal, and alternative genres can cause a voluntary and often violent physical reaction from a live audience. This is what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to say, hey, these rhythms, these grooves, they cause people to do stuff. Yeah. And basically that's the reason why. And so that's why I wanted to write. This is what I want to do. This is what I wrote about. Yeah, it's crazy. I will probably um put a link to this version of my essay for everyone to read. Please, if you have any critiques, if you have anything to add to this conversation, feel free to do so. Message me, comment, tell me. I love conversations about this. This is why I wrote this. Is to force myself into the conversation and to talk about moshing and how it is such a cultural phenomenon that such violent such a violent dance form is present within Western music culture, where for the majority, a lot of Western music culture is not centered around these violent, almost tribalistic, community driven dances, where it's more like I don't want to put down these other types of dancing, but like your TikToks where like it's some coordinated dance, right, to some music, or ballroom dancing. So like your typical ballroom dancers, your jazz dancing, your interpretive free dancing, um, hip hop and break dancing is very close to moshing in the sense that it is community driven. It is at times violent and very energetic. Um, the one thing I do want to say about this is I want to continue researching and writing more about heavy music because there's a lot to say about it that I believe there's a lot to say about it. And there's a lot to add that I've written that I don't think. No, let me rephrase that. There's a lot I want to add specifically because there has been a lot that has happened within the general heavy music scene. I have two examples here. First of all, the sort of rise of this YouTuber, Finn McKenty, otherwise known as the Punk Rock MBA. He looks at alternative music from the lens of business, from the perspective of business, um, financially, culturally, almost, and it's very great. He knows what he's talking about. The sad state of rock in 2020. Why is rock music, alternative music, punk music, metal, why is it not the go-to? You know, why has it become a niche genre of music? Um, and then the other thing as well that has popped up that has basically shown and given us, as funny as it is to say, given more research data actually showing how people mosh, how they react to this music, what are the dance moves, how do they react to this sort of beat, this sort of rhythm, this groove, and is it call response? Is it just sort of a general understanding of culture? You have to kind of know what it is. There's so much nuance to it. I believe there's so much nuance to it. For instance, I'll play a little bit. You can see people are having this reaction. There's people jumping, already swinging, already throwing fists, and right when it jumps, people go crazy. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what I want to research and discuss more. Why are these people doing this? But anyways, I just wanted to share a few of my thoughts. I also wanted to share the reason why, and also share a little bit about my essay, my experience. I'm grateful to my professor, Professor Goshert, for giving me the opportunity to have. I appreciate him for recognizing. I don't want to say my talent. I don't want to boast myself, but I appreciate him for recognizing the work I've put in, and I appreciate him giving me this opportunity to submit something for academics. Honestly, this research that I've done is probably like, as funny as it is to say, my greatest academic achievement so far. I plan on writing more, and I also plan on changing my perspective a little bit. I want to write more from the perspective of these niche genres as someone who's looking to, as weird as it is, create a business. Because within these genres of music, metal, hardcore, punk, all their alternative music, there is a sense of DIY, of building a brand, of building an image, and a lot of that comes with from these business skills. And although these bands and artists learn these skills on their own, I do believe there's probably a way to refine that, make it better, and ultimately have success within the general heavy music landscape. Take, for example, artists such as Under Oath, who, after 2 days of sales, sold 6 digits worth of ticket sales for a live stream concert. A live stream concert. They made 6 digits from that. That's insane. And for such a niche genre of music, where to the common person, it's just screaming. It's screamo. It's loud. How can you listen to that? They sound demonic. But they've created a brand, an image, and are successful at it. And so, to close, I appreciate all of y'all leaving such nice comments, congratulating me. Um, I love y'all. I hope you're doing well. Bye bye.